Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together. Welcome to Kevin's Top Travel Destination, and I'm delighted to welcome Deirdre Sweeny. She is the general manager of Sunway Holidays, which is, I hasten to add, the largest Irish tour operator in Ireland, and it specializes in Lapland, which we may talk about, cruises, European package holidays. So what Deirdre doesn't know about travel is probably not worth dealing with. 40 years of experience. Deirdre, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thanks for inviting me along this morning.
I'm really looking forward to we're going to do a couple of different topics over the coming weeks. And the first one is, I know you are an expert on cruises. Now, I have an odd relationship with cruises, as you may have heard from a previous podcast. And I'm torn about whether it's the right thing to do environmentally, blah, 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 blah. Tell me why you would encourage our lady or gent sitting here beside us who is sort of maybe thinking, should I go on a cruise or not? Why would you suggest they do go on a cruise? And then we'll dive into where.
Okay, so there are so many little pointers in that question. First one I would say is, it is a complete holiday in one destination, as in you unpack once. You go on board, every single thing is catered for. You've all your food, you can have your drinks, you can have multi-generational, you meet so many different people. You visit probably 6 to 7 different locations in a week's cruise. So it's like a complete package. For people who say, don't think I'd like it, overcrowd, overfed, there's so many myths nowadays involved in it. Not true. All absolutely not true. It is so well managed, you rarely queue for anything. The selection of the amenities on board is superb, so it's really something to suit everybody. I think the thing that people are afraid of, it's such a vast product, it's difficult to understand it. So you really, really need to talk to somebody about it. Anybody can look at a cruise and go, no, don't like the look of that. Perhaps that's not the one for you.
Okay, and you see these huge ships in Dublin Bay where we're broadcasting from, and there's something sort of almost terrifying about the size of these giants. How do you navigate that fear in someone who's thinking of going on a cruise?
What I would say is start a little bit smaller. Okay. So you can go from anything from 900 passengers on board right up to 7,500. So again, it depends on what you're looking for and what type of holiday you want. The fear of looking at that, it's no different to looking at an aeroplane. Okay. Same size.
Yes. So what's your favourite bit of cruising? What are your memories of great cruises for yourself?
People watching is a big thing on cruises. There's such a selection of nationalities, age groups, all types. It's fascinating. Every day is different. You meet so many interesting people, and some actually we've met over the years, we've kept in contact with, and they've become great friends. So that's really interesting. The food on board is paramount. There's such a selection. On most of the ships, there would be a choice of maybe 8 or 10 different dineries. The nice thing is, if you're going multi-generational, there's something for everybody. There's none of this every morning, where are we going to eat tonight? I don't like that restaurant. I'm not going here. You have it all on board. So it saves an awful lot of planning.
And your own best memories?
Of cruises?
Yes.
We did a transatlantic one last year, which was one I had thought about for a long time, but I was a little bit worried, even being a cruiser, of being on board for 6.5 days, not seeing land. It was fascinating. We were to dock in Bermuda. The winds were too high after 4 days, so we ended up 6.5 days. It was quite unique because you relaxed like you never relaxed before. The Wi-Fi worked, absolutely, but you didn't bother with it. It was like you were in suspense in the world and just ocean all around you. A lot of facilities on board, so you never, ever had to think, what am I going to do today? The days were filled to the brim. It was probably the most relaxing thing I've done. And then because of that, we sailed into New York at midnight under the 3 bridges, and it was spectacular. So that's a great memory, Kevin.
So that's almost going back to the great QE2 trips and Brideshead Revisited and those iconic trips where the only way to get from Europe to America was on a cruise liner.
That's right. That's right. And QE2 is still running and still doing Southampton to New York.
Wow.
And again, the difference...
That wasn't your ship, though.
No, we did a Norwegian cruise. The difference between that is the Cunard ones are still very traditional. They have a lot of black tie nights. It's quite formal. It's very, very Tudor boutique style. Whereas some of the other ships, most of the American carriers will be going back to the US for the Caribbean season in the winter. So they do these transatlantic twice a year, either way. We went Norwegian, 2,500 people on board. It was rocking is all I can say. I was quite surprised at the age group on board. Like, it ranged from kind of late teens up to 70s. Lot younger than I expected.
Okay.
It was great fun.
And what was your highlight of a day when you were on this 6-day
We would
sojourn?
get up, we would have breakfast, we would walk for an hour and a half around the ship. So on deck 8, the whole way around the ship, there was this fantastic walkway. So we would do that for an hour and a half. Then you would go for lunch. Then the afternoon, I did painting classes, I did yoga, I did Pilates.
What?
Yeah, the amount of things that are available on board are really fantastic. My husband did quizzes. We never did the same thing because we had different interests. He did golf, he did darts.
Golf?
Yeah. There's golf stimulators. There's a big arcade that you can do tennis. You can do a driving range. You name it, it had it.
My goodness
Yeah.
me.
So it was
My
very
goodness.
interesting cruising.
Yes, I can see that. And do you take time out on trips like that where you just sit and read a book looking at the ocean?
Yes, absolutely. I love the sky and the sea. So I would sit there in the evening and the sunsets are just spectacular because they're completely in view. Like, nothing obstructs it. And it goes the whole way around. So you could just sit there for like 30 minutes watching it start to the very end. And it really is best imagery ever.
Wow. You've sold me on that, I'd have to say. Okay, so I've decided, I had this chat with Deirdre, I am going to book with the 2 grandkids or the rest of the family, Kieran and Maria, or we're just going to take a family holiday. Huge amount of choice. I mean, I have no idea, how do you navigate the vastness from the Cunards to the MS to the Norwegians who have a great reputation? How do you even begin to navigate?
Well, the first thing you do is you speak to an expert. You absolutely have to speak to a cruise expert, and they are everywhere. There are plenty of them.
Yes.
You need to speak to somebody who's experienced most of the cruise lines so they know what you need. You'll be asked probably top 7 questions. Who's traveling with you? Have you ever cruised before? What is your budget? Now, the budget is a huge question and people don't like to answer that straight away. And they're very cagey and they're afraid you're going to go, well, if you say €7,000, they're going to charge you that and it might only be 5. That's not the case. It gives us an idea of where and what to offer you, because there is no point offering you something that's 10,000 if you only want to spend 5,000. Or if you want something that's 10,000 and I'm offering you something for 5, you're not going to purchase that. You're going to feel disappointed in the service. The key questions are really important. Once we have an idea, we'll always ask as well, where was your last holiday? What was your favourite holiday? Who's travelling with you? What ages are they?
And do you have a bucket list destination?
Yes, our bucket lists, because on a cruise, you can go to many of them in one.
Okay.
Take Japan, for example. So a lot of the cruise companies now have gone back into Japan. It had started before COVID and then it stopped. Back in this year with a vengeance. Next year, there's about 10 or 12 ships all around the Asian market. The Japanese ones are about 6 to 7 destinations over sometimes 7, 10-day trips. There are other ones that are 5 nights. So you get to see really interesting places with whoever you want to travel with.
Okay. Is there a minimum time that you should pick for a cruise?
Starting off, if somebody is interested and they just want to see the feel of it, I would say go with your friends, go with your partner, go with whoever you choose on a 3 to 4 night cruise. Do a short stay cruise, do it in the Med. It's easy, it's quick accessibility from Dublin or Cork or Shannon. Do your 3 or 4 nights, see what you think of it. If you're on the right one, guarantee you will be back looking for a 7-nighter.
Okay.
Then the 7-nighters go on to 10-nighters. Then the 10-nighters go on to 14-nighters, and on it goes.
Up to what?
You can do World Cruise. That is like 170 days, 175 days.
And you wouldn't go mad on the same ship?
Again, you're stopping in different places, maybe every day or every second day.
Yes.
You can either take the onboard excursions or you can DIY that, because a lot of the locals will have lined up waiting to help you. So, it's impossible to be bored. You might get a little bit of cabin fever. Maybe after 168 nights. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Okay, so 4 days. I really like that. What's the minimum budget I have to put aside, and what are the hidden costs?
Okay, again, depends on what package you take. So, for example, if you took, say, a 3-nighter in the Med in around October, 2 sharing an interior cabin, you're going to get it for anything from $4.99 to $7.99 per person.
Now, is that starting where, and how do you get to that?
That includes your flights. That would be, for example, flying from Dublin. October would be off season. So towards the end of season and start of season in the Med, which would be April time and October, November time. The ships are winding down. They do a few little 3-4 night stays, and they're very well priced. Depending on $4.99. There's ones at the moment for January on one of the newest ships with MSC, fabulous ship, and it is selling for $6.49, including your drinks for 7 nights.
My goodness.
So again,
me.
it depends on the season. Obviously, high season, it's more expensive.
Yes.
If you can take time out when it isn't high season, you get incredible value, and that can include your drinks also and all your food.
And there's no other costs to that. Let's say I take, 4 of us go on that. Now, that sounds like a fantastic. And where would you fly to and from?
Dublin, Barcelona.
Okay,
that particular one, Dublin, Barcelona.
Up in Barcelona.
Yes.
And what should I say? Let's say it's 700 quid each.
Yeah.
What additional cost should I budget for?
On board, nothing, because you've already purchased your drinks package if you so wish to have that. It includes all your food. If you want to do a speciality dining, which a lot of them now offer, you can do that on board, and that'll cost you anything from $30 to $90 per person. But you're talking about very, very high-end steak restaurants.
And that's $30 for the entire
per person.
duration?
No, per meal.
Per meal.
You only visit.
Okay.
Generally, people would use it for maybe a special occasion or a birthday anniversary, something like that.
And what are you getting if you just pay for the package?
You get all your meals. You would get drinks if that was included in your package. Some of them offer Wi-Fi and that, your gratuities, your taxes, port taxes, and literally you can eat day and night.
And the food quality without going up?
That depends on which cruise line you choose, what price you pay. Again, they start a kind of 3-star plus and they go right up to 6-star plus. I've just come off Explorer, which is the brand new luxury yacht side of MSC Cruises. So it is 6-star plus. It is phenomenal. The ship has been built to the size of a 2,000 passenger ship, but they are only holding 900 on it. So the outside space is phenomenal. It's just so well spread out. There's like 4 pools. There's jacuzzis that look like infinity pools, whirlpools. There's a fabulous health spa in it. You pay for the health spa. If you go for a treatment, that's included in it.
Okay. So you add a health spa package.
Yes. All suite accommodation, butler service, all inclusive, champagnes, wines, you name it, everything in
Bloody
it.
hell.
Now, that's a different budget. You're talking about anything from $4,500 up to $7,500 per person.
Okay. And that's a special occasion for a week?
That's for a week. That would be 7 nights, say in Barbados, all around the Caribbean, or
including your flights.
Yes,
too.
that's including your flights. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Again, lots of different offers, and that's really why you do have to talk to experts because you need to know what the person needs, what they want.
Okay, now you've got me going on this 6-star. As my son will tell you, I'm a bit of a snob. What was the highlights of the food when you went on this 6-star?
So the food surprised me because I expected it to be quite Michelin star, which, yes, it's on that level, but I expected it to be, for me, very difficult to choose what I might like because I'm not a very adventurous eater, let's say. It was fantastic. The selection was there for everybody. It was served in the perfect portions. Service was phenomenal, but it wasn't stuffy.
Okay.
And it wasn't in any way uncomfortable. There was every walk of life on board. It was very unusual for that type of product to have that laid-back chill.
And the main
with it.
nationalities?
Completely mixed. International. There was American, there were Canadians, Australians, there were Dutch, there were Spanish, Italian, Irish, English.
Okay.
Great mix.
Wow. And your standout meal?
Would have been an Asian-fused one, which again surprised me because I'm not great on that, but it was fantastic. There was a lot of sushi and it was superb.
Okay. And what about, say, Christmas as a getting away? As you know, in the UK, Ireland, Europe, you know, a lot of families now are electing to go to hotels. They don't want the hassle of doing that. What's it like and what's the budget? Does it go up? What would be the options for a Christmas 3 or 4 nights?
On a cruise?
Yeah.
Difficult on that. You would have to go to the States. You're talking about minimum 8-9 nights around that time of year. Mediterranean, they don't have 3 and 4 nights that time of the year because the Med is not that good. You know, weather-wise, not fantastic. You need to move to the Canaries.
Okay.
They do Canary cruises, but they are 9 to 11 nights around that time of year.
And budgets?
Anything from about €1,200 upwards. It can go up to 2,000 depending on cabin type, what the inclusions are, and obviously availability. Like all these things do book up very early.
They do book up.
Yes.
But that's
it's
an option
flights.
to talk
the
about.
Flights are
It's
really the
flights,
biggest issue.
Yes, and they're included in the package if you
We only
book
sell
them.
packages.
Okay.
We will, of course, do cruise only if somebody wants it. But if you do a cruise only, you're on your own. If your flight is delayed or anything happens, that's it. Nobody's going to look after you.
And you're not going to swim out to catch the...
Exactly. So 99% of what we would sell would be cruise full packages.
And have you been on cruises where people have been left on?
Yes. Aer Lingus had a strike last year, or this year actually, in July, 21st of July, and a lot of their flights got cancelled, and they were Saturday flights, which was Rome, Barcelona, Palma. They were all the pickup points for the cruise ships. And had you not been on a package, it was very difficult.
And how did you remedy that?
We sent them out the day before. We got plenty of notice and we rebooked them and put them out and we housed them and put them over for an extra night. And that was our duty of care to all our lovely customers.
We are going to talk about package holidays versus doing it yourself. I think this is a great time to wrap on cruises. I have to say, almost reluctantly, you've sold me.
Thank you very much. I look forward to helping you.
Well, thank you, Deirdre, from Sunway, the largest Irish holiday provider who specialises cruises. And if I am going to go, I'll be calling on you.
Look forward to it.